It was a very important and needed antibiotic, if you want to call it, medicine that I needed.
Oh,
I needed that.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Spiritual antibiotic.
Spiritual antibiotic, I needed that.
I was never the same after this incident.
See, I don't want to keep beating the dead horse and trying to, kind of pour some attention on it. But really, honestly, I do think there's a lot of good lessons I learned from my mother's death. And I still find it very hard to sort of process it, right? But I was never the same after that. I truly wasn't.
That's okay though, right? That's okay. I would say.
Thank God. It was a very important and needed antibiotic, if you want to call it, medicine that I needed.
Oh, I like
I
that.
needed that.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Spiritual antibiotic.
Spiritual antibiotic, I needed that. And quite honestly, we have talked about this outside of the camera, but prior to my mother leaving, the value of life, I didn't understand and grasp the whole concept of like how important it is. Like everything, you can get anything back in this life, right? You lose money, you get money back. You can make money back. You fail an exam, you can get that back. You have a little dinged up car, you can get that back. Yeah. The hardest lesson I learned when I lost my own mother is that there's only one mother. And once she goes back to that grave, you're not going to dig her back up, and she's not going to come back. You know what I'm saying? And that also made me realize how important it is for my other loved ones who are still alive. My wife, my children, my father.
How to take care of them.
How to take care of them and how to be appreciative of them. Prior to my mother leaving, I would get annoyed as to why my mom is calling me to just stop by, just to see her. Why my dad is asking me for simple questions that he can get it figured himself maybe. And now it just gives me a whole different perspective of appreciation for life, right? The value of time. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. By the passage of time, human beings are at loss of time. But that value of time, I think I'm realizing even more now. And we talk about mindfulness and how we have to be present in the moment. I mean, I have to get still better at this, but that's the other lesson that I think I learned is that I think about that very specific conversation that I had with my mother at the hospital, right? Which was 2 weeks prior to her passing. And she didn't know that she was going to die, right? So she was thinking she was going to be discharged the day after, a few days after. She was at that time more worried about paying her electric bill. So she actually reminded me that, hey, can you make sure that you pay my electric bill? And that was my usual self, right? That child who wasn't sure if, thought mom's going to be alive. So I was thinking, why is mom thinking about electric bill and whatnot, right? She did not know 2 weeks ago that 2 weeks after, this is going to be not even a thing to think about, the electric bill. I remember that incident. That incident stays with me forever because, and how it's related to mindfulness is because, every night we worry about different things. When we go to bed, we're thinking about the next day, the next month, the next year, about other stuff. Earlier we talked about our finances, me worried about finances. But then I think about this incident with my mother, that my mom, she didn't know when she was going to die. I don't know where I'm going to die. We don't know when our life is going to be. It could be this could be my last night.
Right.
So there's no guarantee for that. So I have to be present and be here for the moment because I've seen someone so close to me that I loved just left.
Yep.
And
while thinking about the electric bill.
While thinking about the electric bill. So I think that incident stayed with me. It's hard for me to, and I don't know how others can relate to it unless they have had very similar experience themselves. Yep. All I can say is that sometimes you have to get pinched yourself to really understand what that means.
Right.